Hello and welcome to another episode of Put Me in Coach on episode 86. And today we are talking about Diamondbacks versus Giants game 2. Lineup of the day, the only thing that is different is actually Jorge Barrosa playing center field, and the rest is the same from yesterday. In the top of the eighth, Vargas came in to play first base for over Pavin Smith. That's pretty much of that. You look at the numbers, pretty much like I think only 3 people did not get on base. Honestly, that's pretty good. Perdomo, Carroll, and Smith did not get on a base, and the rest did. And so pretty good. Marte went 2 for 5. Lorisgard Jr. went 2 for 5. Marino went 2 for 3 and stuff. Max Kepler went 2 for 4. Really good and stuff. It's good to see the offense getting a little bit lit up a little bit of enough with the positive than a negative and stuff. So pretty good as that. I wouldn't say anything wrong with that and stuff. Starting pitcher of the day, Brandon Pfaadt, went 6 innings, gave up 3 hits, struck out 2, walked 1, and gave up 1 run. So it's good to see Brandon Pfaadt back. And there was even a time where he kind of went a little bit low. I think the most of the struggle thing from Brandon Pfaadt when he was a starter was he was pretty good in the beginning, and then at the very end he kind of slows down to the 5th or the 6th inning and stuff, and he has no juice to himself to keep going and stuff. And then fortunately enough, he keeps walking, he keeps giving runs away at the very end and stuff, and then fortunately he gets the loss at the very end because he had it at the time and stuff. So he wasn't really performing very well and stuff, and fortunately we had to set him down to the bullpen because of that problem, because he was not performing well and stuff. And it was a bummer because I like Brandon Pfaadt a lot. He was really big of the 2023 World Series playoffs as well, to the playoffs and the World Series, because we only had 3 pitchers at the time, and then we had actually a bullpen game mostly of the time and stuff, mostly against the Phillies in the World Series. And fortunately those games, just one of them kind of helped. The Phillies one, we got really lucky and stuff, but the one with the Rangers just didn't work at all and stuff. And if you think about it, because I think the Dodgers did it as well, where enough they only had 3 pitchers, and then game 4 they had a bullpen went in and just pitched 1 game. And so that didn't work for the Dodgers both games and stuff, because I think they lost those games and stuff. So that's the other thing about that. I think it's just a little hard because I don't think the pitchers are used to be in this early and stuff. Sometimes enough it will work, sometimes it just doesn't. It just doesn't feel the same way and stuff. So that's the difference enough of what Brandon Pfaadt was been doing back then. Sorry, I don't know why I am so tired. I just woke up. What? Yeah. Golly, dude. I'm a mess. Yeah, it's just I don't know. There's just something was just a little off, and then we had 6 pitchers at the time and stuff. So I guess they're trying to get into the 5 rotation and stuff. So it's just enough of for Brandon Vaught not really working as what he wanted and stuff, and that's why he went down in the bullpen and stuff. And then even enough he was struggling in the bullpen as well. He did like okay some here and there and stuff, because I think Lovello wanted him to keep going more innings as a bullpen as well, like going 3 innings and stuff. But that's just not really working as well. Like, how about you like test him in a way where enough of like, hey, like go in the first inning, see what you can do, and then we'll see what's gonna happen and stuff. And then if you feel good, put you in there again and stuff, and then we'll see about that, and then try the next day and stuff, and maybe we can try more innings and stuff, just something like that. And unfortunately enough, Lovello just used him in a weird way and stuff. And there's times where Brandon Vaught was giving runs a lot and stuff, and he just keep having him in there and stuff. It's just like don't use your pitchers like this stuff, because you're just gonna warm them out. And then fortunately enough, Vaught actually went down more to the minors and stuff. So again, he was just not really performing well. I don't know, he got to the IL or something. There's something weird. Like, I don't know why he went to the minors and stuff. Because I haven't like seen him for like a very very long time. It's brief of enough of he played bullpen so much, and stuff, because Lovello didn't even use him that much and stuff, because we just had other bullpen pitchers were just a lot much better over Brandon Vaught. That's just the truth and stuff. And mostly of those guys just go 1 inning. So why are you keep using Brandon Vaught for like 2 or 3 innings? Where enough of he's not gonna do good, like have him 1 inning and then see what that happened, and then the next day give him more if so. So just like depends on enough that and stuff. And he also used him when we're like losing really badly and stuff. It's just like he really used Brandon Vaught in a bad way and stuff, and I don't really like it so much. So I think that's like the most biggest thing of that and stuff. But fortunately enough, him going to the minors, and then fortunately enough, I was thinking like, who's going to pitch today and stuff, because Michael Rotorka is injured and he should be the pitcher of starting today against the Giants and stuff. But fortunately enough, I was thinking about Bratt was going to come back in and stuff, because he was our new prospect and he made his, starting debut against the Cardinals last time of in the rotation and stuff. So I was trying to figure enough of, are they going to use him or and stuff. And then fortunately enough, I did hear about Brandon Vaught might come back and stuff. And fortunately enough, he started today and he looked great. So good for Brandon Vaught, I thinking this was a big step for him, and just good to see him back. Yeah. The Giants starting pitcher, Landon Rope, he went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, struck out 4, walked 6, and then gave up 6 runs. So he is mostly the opposite now. He just didn't do so well, didn't really go not much of enough. I just thinking he really walked a lot and stuff. So the Diamondbacks offense was just a lot better off of him and stuff, and he just didn't really perform well and stuff. He did okay, he got some more strikes, what he did and stuff, but 5 hits, 6 walks, 6 runs is not really good, and especially enough if that happened only 3 innings. He just didn't really perform really well and stuff. And then the bullpen for the Diamondbacks, Taylor Clark, Ryan Thompson, Juan Morello, and Dre Drameson. And again, I don't know why every single time we see like a new shoe sneakers of Dre Jameson. You know, I already talked about his shoes before and stuff. He's shown, I don't know, I think he does have a SpongeBob one and stuff. I'm not 100% sure and stuff, but there's others I saw. I don't know what it was and stuff, but I know there was a Tom and Jerry one he showed. That was like the last time we saw his sneakers was Tom and Jerry. There's another one. I'm blanking on what it is, but they really look cool and stuff. And today he was wearing the Simpsons, and to me that's just so odd. Like, what? Why are you wearing Simpson and stuff? Like, it's cool and all, but just like, why? Yeah, stuff. I would prefer Tom and Jerry overall because that's more like classic enough. Like, I get Simpsons itself is a classic because it's been around for so long and stuff, but yeah, no, like, I don't know. I just like Tom and Jerry over the Simpsons. That's just my opinion. So yeah, so they did pretty good and stuff. And then now we're going to go to scoring right now and stuff. Fortunately enough, I have a lot. So we're just going to get through it and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. Lourdes Guerrero Jr. with a 3 big home run to make it 3-0 in the bottom of the first. Good to see him getting back into it and stuff. Max Kepler got his first D-backs hit in the first inning, in the bottom of the first, with a double. So good to see he's at attacking at the plate and stuff. He actually went 2 for 4, by the way, and stuff. So good for him getting out of his shell. Kendall Marte with a 2 RBI single to make it 6-0 bottom of the third. Luis Arias with a solo home run to make it 1-6 top of the sixth. Kendall Marte with a solo home run 7-1 bottom of the sixth. And Rafael Devers with a solo home run to make it 2-7 top of the eighth. And the final score today was 8-2. We won today, and our final record is 43-42. Now we are over 500 and stuff. So it's good to see we're winning games and stuff. And speaking of Marte, I didn't really think about this and stuff. He just passed Paul Goldschmidt for the most Diamondbacks hitting careers. So good for him. And because the most biggest 3 guys right in that conversation is Paul Goldschmidt, and he was tied with him. And then I think today he just passed him and stuff with over like 100 and something. I don't know what it is. It's in the 1,000. I know that and stuff. And then Marte and stuff, and then Luis Gonzalez is in the first place of it. So I don't know he can get to Luis Gonzalez. You know, like Vargas was trying to do the same thing with like hits in the most games and stuff, but it's tough to be up there and stuff. I think Paul Goldschmidt did it for a very long time as well and be in that category as well, but yeah, it's cool to see him just getting into that category with the other Diamondbacks history. So it's really, really cool. Progress. I just think, I get it. We're playing the Giants, and the Giants are not a really good team and stuff. And their defense is not really good and stuff. But just gotta realize enough of just keep hacking. You know, it doesn't matter who we're playing. You know, we gotta show this to pretty much every team and stuff. And it doesn't matter who's at the plate and stuff. We gotta just do our best, win our game and stuff, and do the best we can and stuff. I think that's a positive thing right there. And pitching looks good and stuff. If we do this very often and stuff, we're gonna win games and stuff. So the thing is enough for tomorrow. I feel like Gallen's gonna pitch today because I'm recording of today and stuff. So just for that, I don't know what I'm gonna expect. Hopefully Gallen does pitch more better and stuff, and it could be of enough. He'd be thinking about like, oh, we're playing the Giants, it'd be easy. I wouldn't say that of enough. You could say enough. Yeah, the Giants are easy and stuff, but just have that mindset where enough of just like work hard, do your best, make it difficult for the Giants and stuff. Don't make it a lot easier for you, and then realize enough of the Giants can literally hit off of you if they could and stuff. So just don't think that of enough of just like don't make it easy for your opponents because you thinking it's easy for you and stuff, because that can go in a wrong way if so and stuff. So we want to think about positive, work hard, do your best, do your job, and get the win. I think that's the most positive things we can absolutely say and stuff. Two more things we're going to talk about of enough of MVP of today on the podcast. I have three people today and stuff, and they have mostly took over this game and stuff, and they did the great job they could and stuff. Kendall Marte won one of them and stuff. This is his 10th time winning the MVP on this podcast, so good for him and stuff. He deserved it very well of enough. Loris Gregg Jr. winning his second MVP on this podcast and stuff, because I think he really attributed today with the game and stuff with his home run, his base hits and stuff, and even Brandon Pfaadt with winning his first MVP on this podcast and stuff. I think he deserved it, having a welcome open of it today and stuff, and he looks pretty good. So hopefully he can keep going with that in the rotation and stuff, and later on, and maybe help us and stuff. And if he is going to go in the bullpen, he needs a pitch like that. So I think that's the most biggest thing of that and stuff. And I got one more thing after we're done. We're not done yet. Just letting you know. I'm sorry. You thinking this is gonna be over? It's not over. It's not over yet and stuff. But fortunately enough of tomorrow. I think it is tomorrow, because today is July 1st. And tomorrow will be July 2nd. Because today is Wednesday, tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah. July 2nd will be the last day to actually vote in the All-Star voting for Phase 2. Because that started in June 29th and it will end in July 2nd. So hopefully you guys getting your second votes in and stuff if you guys want to and stuff. But also of enough, I want to talk about what I voted as well and stuff, and what's the difference, because there's some were the same, some are different, but it's what it is and stuff. So so this is my Phase 2 All-Star voting and stuff, who I picked and stuff. These guys absolutely deserve it very, very well and stuff. For the American League, my first baseman, I picked Ben Rice for over the Yankees. He's been crushing it over there and stuff. Second base, when Ernie Clement for the Blue Jays, I actually vote him in the first phase and stuff. He actually has the most voting for on the AL side, so he recommended right away. So I really haven't had no choice for Ernie Clement. So unfortunately, the votes really helped him into it and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. The third baseman, Junior Caminero for the Rays and stuff. I also picked him in the first phase as well. He's pretty good. You can see why enough of the Yankees got. Not the Yankees. The Diamondbacks got swept by the Rays and stuff. And Junior Caminero was huge against on us and stuff. And that's pretty much why and stuff. So yeah. And then shortstop is going to be Bobby Wood Jr. on the Royals. There's no complaint about that because Bobby Wood Jr. Duh. And stuff. And then the catcher is going to be Shane Gallier and stuff on the Athletics and stuff. Just makes sense. He's just been crushing it for that team and stuff. I also picked him in the first and Phase 1 as well and stuff. And then my three outfielders enough, who I picked is Aaron Judge on the Yankees, Mike Trout on the Angels, and the person I did not pick in Phase 1 is different for Phase 2, and that is Brian Buxton on the Twins. And these three absolutely deserved it. But the thing is enough of, I don't know of enough. I'm hearing about injuries and stuff because I'm hearing Mike Trout is injured, Aaron Judge is injured, and so I don't know who's gonna play for them as starter. But hopefully they'll be healthy at the time to get to the All-Star. It's a couple like 2 weeks, I guess. So hopefully, who knows? And then the DH is going to be Yordan Alvarez as the outro. So the only ones is completely the same is going to be Ernie Clement, Junior Caminero, Shea Shinigler, Aaron Judge, Mike Trout, and Yordan Alvarez. And I do have the others who I picked before because the first baseman I picked was Munikata Mukurami. On the White Sox, the first baseman, the Japanese player. I'm sorry, I pronounced his name wrong and stuff. So that's what I picked. But fortunately enough, the other picks enough of Ben Rice was pretty much the obviously and stuff. The shortstop guy I picked was Colson Montgomery for the White Sox as well and stuff. But fortunately, people really like Bobby Wood Jr. a lot and stuff. And then I picked Julio Rodriguez in the outfield on the Mariners, but I guess Buxton is doing really good this year, and the rest is basically the same. And then we're going to go in the National League. Our first baseman is Matt Olson with the Braves. He's been crushing for that team, and that's who I picked in Phase 1 as well. Second base, Ozzie Albies for the Braves. It's a little crazy enough of what the fan base voting is doing for the national side and stuff. That's pretty much that. I just picked the best one and overall and stuff. Third baseman Max Muncy for the Dodgers and stuff. So I guess he's been doing really good for them and stuff. Shortstop is C.J. Abrams for the Nationals. He is one of them. Is really doing good for the Nationals, even with James Wood. Fortunately enough, James Wood is not on this voting list. It's so weird enough of why he's not and stuff. But C.J. Abrams is for shortstop, and he's the most choose person for this position and stuff. And then catcher Drake Baldwin for the Braves and stuff. I actually picked him in Phase 1 as well. And stuff, and also I'm hearing injuries. So again, I'm not 100% sure of enough of if they're going to be healthy to play in the All-Star. Who knows? But it's the obviously choice for him and stuff. And then my three outfielders and stuff. I did pick Michael Harris second in Phase 1, and I also pick him again and stuff. And then the new ones I picked was Brandon Marsh from the Phillies and Juan Soto from the Mets and stuff. So those are the big enough of it. I guess these guys. I don't know why I picked Michael Harris second. That's just who I choose in Phase 1 somehow. Of enough, there's a reason why the Braves are doing good overall and stuff. I guess Brandon Marsh is doing good for the Phillies and stuff, and then even Juan Soto, especially enough that the Mets are a really terrible team, but somehow enough, he's making really good numbers and stuff. So that's pretty much of that. And also, where is Corbin Carroll? What the frick? I don't understand that, man, voting, dude. And then DH of enough of Shohei Ohtani on the Dodgers. Fortunately enough, I did not give a choice for the DH because Shohei Ohtani has the most voting on the National League side, even Ernie Clement and stuff. But I would actually show you what's the difference of enough who I picked in Phase 1 and stuff. Fortunately enough, the people were different. I actually picked Brandon Lau for second base when he was on the Pirates and stuff. That's who I choose and stuff. Third baseman Nolan Arenado for the Diamondbacks. So no Diamondbacks voting in Phase 2 overall and stuff. Shortstop, I picked Ellie De La Cruz again when he on the Reds and stuff. And then my two other outfields I picked as well was Mickey Moniak on the Rockies and James Wood on the Nationals and stuff. And it's interesting enough of why James Wood is not one of the conversations in the second voting and stuff. It's so weird. And stuff. And then I put DH of Kyle Schwarber. So that was the difference. And then the rest I actually did use was Matt Olson, Drake Baldwin, Michael Harris II, and that's pretty much it. But the rest is completely different with Ozzy Albies, Max Muncy, C.J. Abrams, Brandon Marsh, Juan Soto, Shohei Ohtani. So those are my picks in phase 2 and stuff. I actually looked at Draft Nick Mark as well. The crazy thing is enough of I am exactly the same what he chose as well and stuff, but there's only one little minor thing he didn't pick and stuff. He did not pick Michael Harris II and stuff. So that's the only difference enough of it. He actually picked Andy Padres over Michael Harris II. I was really between of Brandon Marsh and Andy Padres at that time. So I just picked Brandon Marsh. I don't know why and stuff. Again, I think Andy Padres does deserve a little bit, but again, I think in the voting, pretty much take over from that point of view and stuff. And also enough, there was so many voting for the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Like, I get it. Like, they got to the World Series last year. It doesn't mean enough. They need to be in the the All-Star as well and stuff. Like, that just doesn't make no sense. Of enough. Like, like what? It's just so weird of that. But yeah, it's what it is and stuff. Like, even Bryce Harper did not get voted in phase 2 and stuff, and they're playing in the Phillies stadium. Like, why you don't want your guy, your best hitter, and especially enough of Kyle Schwarber as well to be in that conversation and stuff. I'm feeling these guys are gonna be in the All-Star, but it's just they're not gonna start anything and stuff. You're never going to get one of your, of it. Maybe Brandon Marsh, maybe, who knows? But it's just so weird. Like, why you pick Brandon Scott? Why Alec Boldman? Like, why you guys vote them more over than your actually superstars? Like, that doesn't make no sense. I don't know. Like, I get it, like, enough. I thinking the fan votes kind of took over sometimes here and there and stuff, but you gotta really understand enough of what they're actually the players are actually doing and what team they're on as well. Sometimes enough it doesn't matter enough what the team is. People vote for Juan Soto and he's got picked in the category of being as a starter in the outfield for the National League and stuff. Like, that's what's the difference from that and stuff. So that's pretty much at that. Hopefully you guys do the same thing for voting who you want to be as a starter for the All-Star for AL and NL and stuff. Tomorrow will be the last chance to do it because July 2nd is tomorrow on Thursday. So I just want to put it out there today and stuff because I just never ever done it before. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I was doing it yesterday, but fortunately enough, today is the next day on July 1st. So that's pretty much of that and stuff. But yeah, so that's all I want to say and stuff. I get it of enough. My hair, you don't see my hair very much and stuff. Again, I just woke up. Like, I get it enough of it's round. Time to get up. Yeah, I get it. That's what it is and stuff. But yeah. Diamondbacks are 8-0 over the Giants and stuff. And if today of enough, because obviously enough, we did win the series over the Giants and stuff. It's good to see get the win. But if we win again for the sweep as well and stuff, we will be going 9-0 against the Giants, and you don't really see that very often for a team to go down that quick and stuff. So, hopefully, I don't know. I don't want to say nothing negative for the Giants and stuff, saying just like, yeah, let's go no over them and stuff. Just like, let's just do our best, and then if we do win, then that's just gonna happen. It's what it is. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.